All this started in 1933, and I'm not going to give you a long history lesson, but I am going to tell you this. Under the AAA Act of 1933, which was FDR's, program, it began the programs of price support. Since that time, every politician who's come to Washington has embellished, augmented, expanded, and magnified those programs to where we are today. To the point that we're taking your tax dollars and paying farmers not to plant something.
That's right.
Now there's something wrong with this picture, ladies and gentlemen, and we got to change it. And Darwin Carter intends to do that. You don't find many farmers from South Georgia, my friends, who know how to set up a set of planters, who can grow a crop, harvest it, put it in a grain bin, get on top of a rail car at 3 a.m. in the morning, load it, and ship it out. But I can't. I also know about international policy. During the 8 years I worked for Ronald Reagan, my first year and a half was here in Georgia. I was the Georgia State ASCS Director, which simply means that you're in charge of all federal farm programs. President Reagan wanted me here to help clean up behind Jimmy Carter and Herman Talmadge. And I'm going to tell you, that was some formidable task. I had been in Athens about 2 weeks, and one of my district directors called me and said, you need to check on co-op. I won't name them, all those public records. So it took me about 3 weeks to organize a 100% audit, which we did. They had $980 million in Commodity Credit Corporation loans and didn't have enough grain in those silos to make a whole cake of cornbread. And that was your tax money. That was just one small example of the problems that I encountered when I came on board with Ronald Reagan. I did that job for a year and a half, and then Secretary Block asked me to go to Washington and help put some programs together up there. So when he called, I said, well, Mr. Secretary, I want to tell you something now. I'm back in Athens. Our office is right here, down, right on the edge of the campus. This is where I graduated in 1964. We've just won the national championship. And I'm having lunch with Vince Dooley at the Rotary Club tomorrow. Why would I want to go to D.C.? He said, I'll put your number 2 man in charge and come on up here. 30 days. Okay. Since he signed my paycheck, I figured I might better do it. 6.5 years later, I'm still chained to that desk in Washington, D.C. I handled all the international affairs of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. When I was sleeping, some guy in Malaysia, Morocco, had a problem. When you've never worked in 24 time zones, you haven't lived. It's a real eye-opening experience, which someone in the world of the new Congress is going to learn to appreciate. Washington, D.C. is a different animal altogether. It's a whole other world. It's a world alien to what we know, and you must learn to adapt to it. Very different. Some people never will. Let me say this to you. Should you choose me as your Commissioner of Agriculture, I will open up markets around this world. I'll move product out of here. We've got 3 of the finest seaports in the whole world here. Savannah, Colonel's Island in Brunswick, and the barge terminal in Bainbridge. A lot of people don't know that. The Bainbridge terminal, the Apalachicola River is navigable all the way into the Gulf. We've got Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska. They don't have seaports. We have them. We have the most productive land on earth right here. Georgia is the largest state east of the Mississippi River. It is the most productive on an acreage basis. We produce more per acre, more dollar profit per acre than any other state in the nation. We've got the seaports. This is a window to the world. We've got great Class 1 railroads and a wonderful interstate system. So if you want to call it farm to market, we've got it. What's missing is leadership. Charlie Brown Airport's got all kind of state planes parked out there. Once in a while, somebody will call and some company will come over here and they'll fly around and talk about maybe we might put a plant here. Those planes need to go to work. I intend to hire employees who know how to work in the international market. I'm going to take them out there. I'm going to give them the name of that Minister of Agriculture, that president of that country. I'm going to put them on that plane and tell them not to come back until they come back with the order. And we're going to tell our farmers to get those tractors cranked up. In 90 to 120 days, we can have a crop ready to ship through Colonel's Island. We don't have to go build a widget factory. We've got the land right outside the city limits. It just needs leadership and somebody to make the cash register ready. I want your vote, I want your support, I want your help. We're in trouble. This country's in a nightmarish mess with this crowd in Washington, D.C. This Obama group, they are about control. They're control freaks. This Northwestern University mentality is the most dangerous thing I have ever conceived or encountered in my life. And we're going to have some people here, ladies and gentlemen, who will bow their necks and look at them and say, oh, we ain't going to do that. That ain't going to happen. Not in Georgia. We must have our state officers working together. You'll have a whole new slate of state officers coming up in this midterm election. So it's going to be imperative that the governor, commissioner of agriculture, attorney general, everybody work together. And so I, for one, am looking. That's the night the lights went out in Georgia. We've got to work together. Water is a major issue. Exporting product is a major issue. There are a myriad of social issues that relate to agriculture. We were discussing immigration earlier. There's just it's a mishmash of things. This next group of officers are going to have a major handful of problems. And Darwin Carter has always been known as a problem solver. I'm not going to shirk from it, back away from it. I will take the challenge. Should you decide to give me the opportunity. Now, I'm going to leave you with one little quick story and give the floor to some other speakers. When one of the programs that I was assigned to in Washington was called the Dairy Termination Program, or better known, the Whole Herd Buyout Program. The Congress, which was Democrat at that time, in its infinite wisdom, passes legislation to because we had too much milk production. You remember the cheese giveaways? We couldn't give it away as fast as it was coming in. So, under that program, I closed 23,000 dairies around the U.S., slaughtered 1.6 million dairy cattle, and exported 300,000 live dairy cattle to 32 different countries around the world. And in the process, spent $2.2 billion of your tax money. One of the problems I had was finding a runway long enough that I could land a 707 or a 747 on, but yet small enough airport that I could drive a herd of cows out there and load them on the planes. Milwaukee fit that bill. That happened to be one of the places we used a lot. So Air France flew in 2 747s one day, and we drove the cattle out there, put them into metal racks, picked them up with forklifts, and slid them into the fuselage, put the water in there. Now these cattle, these 400 head of cattle, were slated to go to Baghdad. At that time, Saddam Hussein supposedly was still friendly to the United States. And our administration was trying to cultivate that friendship.